Beijing has issued a travel warning for the United States, saying Chinese citizens should fully assess the risks of traveling to the US, given recent shootings. The warning comes as trade tensions between the world's two biggest economies rise.
On Monday, Beijing warned Chinese students of risks associated with studying in the US. Now it's talking of Chinese citizens being harassed by US immigration officers while entering the country. China's foreign ministry also accuses the US of waging economic war against China to prevent its rise to power. It says Washington has constantly changed demands and made reckless allegations. Over the weekend, Beijing signalled a willingness to negotiate, but stressed it did not fear a trade war with the US. It is a complete twisting and fabrication of the truth for the US to accuse China of going back on its trade talk commitments. Both sides have pummeled each other with hundreds of billions of dollars in punitive tariffs. The US has also blacklisted China's telecoms champion Huawei. Beijing responded by announcing its own intention to make a list of foreign companies which it considers, quote, unreliable. It also threatened to limit access to its rare earth exports. China is the world's largest exporter of the minerals, essential for making smartphones, TVs and other high-tech products.
And for more, let's bring in our financial market correspondent Konrad Busen. And there he is. Konrad, this trade war keeps taking on new dimensions. Now Beijing issuing a travel warning. How worried should the US be?
Well, I think this is really a worrying piece of news, not so much because, tourism from China would be a very important factor for the economy in the US. But this illustrates that the conflict between China and the US is not limited to some unfriendly wording on the top political level. It now really has arrived on the level of everyday lives. We should not forget, there are thousands of Chinese scientists doing research at universities in the US. Thousands of Chinese citizens are studying at US universities. And this travel ban by the Chinese now is really the perfect tool to aggravate the situation and, to make it worse, at least in terms of sentiment and propaganda.
Okay. So it's going to be quite interesting to see US Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin meeting his counterpart in China, the governor of the People's Bank of China, this weekend at the G20 Finance Leaders Summit. Is that a chance to melt the ice?
Monica, in former times, I would have said yes. Institutions like the G20 were initiated to melt the ice between nations, to smooth the way how they operate together. But even if some of the members of the Trump administration sometime come out with statements giving hope that, the government wants to cooperate, the things that the president himself says sound very differently. He permanently keeps disrupting things, and that is throwing sand in the works of institutions like the G20.
All right, Konrad Busen there in Frankfurt. Thank you so much.